Okay, we'll solve this numerical problem. A single phase 230 volts 50 head supply feeds a separately excited DC motor through two single phase semi converters. So last class we have seen the circuit diagram of semi converter. One for the field and the other for the armature. The firing angle for the semi converter for the semi converter in field circuit is 0. 0. The field resistance is 200 ohm. And the armature resistance and the armature resistance armature resistance is 200 ohm, 200 ohm, and the armature field resistance is armature resistance 200 ohm, and whereas the armature resistance is 0.3 ohm. This 0.3 ohm. 0.3 ohm. The load torque is the load torque is 50 Newton meter at 900 RPM. Yeah. See, is it audible and visible? Please answer, anyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will solve this numerical problem today. So yeah, yeah. How we proceed with this problem is that this series now. So what is the problem here is that a single phase 230 volts 50 Hz supply feeds a separately excited DC motor through two single phase semi converters. So what we do is that we will try to draw the circuit diagram. Okay, we will try to draw the circuit diagram with the help of the data. So there is a single phase supply is there, feeds a separately excited DC motor through two single phase semi converters, one for the field and the other for the armature. So in the sense you have two semi converters in the circuit diagram. See, last class we have seen this thing that the motor armature circuit only there is a semi converter, whereas the field circuit we did not discuss much about that, as it is a separately excited DC motor. So we did not discuss much about the field circuit of the separate excited DC motor. But now this case, what we do is that as he has given uh, two semi converters are there for both armature and field. So we'll do one thing. This is the armature circuit. Okay, so this is the armature, the motor here, and there is a single phase supply is there. So
Okay, sir.
this single phase supply. So we have a semi converter. So I am not going to draw the entire thing because already we have done the analysis of the semi converter on this entire thing in last class itself. Okay, so this is 230 volts 50 Hz. Okay, and the output of the semi converter is going to output of the semi converter. This is output of the semi converter. It is
Okay,
going to the
Sachin.
armature circuit. So the firing angle for the semi converter in the field circuit is zero. Okay, this he has given. Okay, I will draw. So there is a field circuit is also. So that I will draw. This is the field circuit. So this field circuit also is coming from, okay, uh, a semi converter. So I will draw another semi converter. So the supply for this is also a single phase supply, that also he has mentioned in the problem. It is 230 volts 50 Hz. Okay, and one more data he has given is that the firing angle for the field circuit, let me go, the firing angle for the semi converter in the field circuit is zero. So the semi converter here, for the semi converter, the alpha f is equal 0. What is alpha f? Is the firing angle of the semi converter connected to the field circuit. It is 0. Okay, what's the next statement? The field resistance is 200 ohm. So there is a field resistance is also there. So generally that resistance is always in series with the field winding. So we'll have a resistance here. We'll have a resistance here. Okay. How much he has given? 200 ohm. Okay. What else he has given? The field, the load torque is, the armature resistance he has given, that is 0.3 ohm. Okay. See, I'm just framing. Okay. I am framing the circuit diagram. Just framing the circuit diagram here. So armature resistance is 0.3. So so Whereas everyone knows this thing that it has some inductance, armature inductance that are also there. So I connected in series. So now you see, so this value how much he has given 0.3 ohm, whereas this L value he has not given. Similarly, the L of your LF, inductance of the field circuit, this he has not given. Okay, we'll see if he has given, we'll write that also. So we'll go and read the data. The field, okay, field resistance he has given. The load torque is 50 Newton meter at 900 RPM. Okay, so he has given the load torque. So TL he has given. So first of all, where is the load here? The load is, so as it is a motor, the load is a mechanical load, and that value, okay, that value he has given that. Okay, so better I will take a shaft from here. So this motor is coupled to the load. Okay, this is the load. Yeah, it's a mechanical load, I can say. So this load torque TL he has given. How much is the load torque here? 50 Newton meter. See, and its speed he has given. How much speed? 900 RPM. So he has given the speed in RPM. So N is how much? 900 RPM. See, I'm just framing the circuit diagram and everything using the data given. Okay, what else he has mentioned now? The voltage constant is 0.8 volt per ampere radian second. So voltage constant. So we got some constants in the last class. I will just uh, write down here. First thing is that EB we got one constant. So just a recall. Yeah, so he has given, okay, just I will write here. Okay, we'll better do one thing, 5 Zn by 16 to P by A. If we do not remember all the things, we'll just put here like this. Okay, then, so this is the voltage, this is the EMF induced. He has given, so then we can write some more thing, EB is equal. Now in this, which are variable here, N is a variable one because it's a speed, okay, and flux. So flux also it is variable in this particular problem. Why I'm saying it is variable in the particular problem is that the flux, you are not getting the voltage to the field winding directly from a constant value. Rather, you are getting from a semi-converter. So in the semi-converter, you have the chance. What you have the chance? You have the chance to vary the firing angle. So when you have the chance to vary the firing angle, then obviously the voltage which is going, or the supply which is going to your field circuit is also varying. So it means there is a possibility. Now we'll read the question once again. We'll read the remaining data. Then we'll check whether the field is constant, the flux is constant or variable. That also we'll check. But from the circuit he has given, that is the supply coming to the field winding of the motor is not a constant supply. Why I am saying it's not a constant supply is that you are giving through a semi converter. So what is the purpose of a semi converter? The purpose of the semi converter is to give the variable output voltage. So different voltages you can give, you can get from the semi converter by varying its alpha, its firing angle. So the voltage coming to your field circuit is not constant. So if the voltage is not constant, generally in this circuit diagram it is not constant. So obviously phi may be a variable one. So I will do one thing. I can simply say that ZPA 60. Only these four are constant. Remaining all, there is a possibility that they are variable. They are variable. Okay, there is a possibility. They may be constant, but there is a possibility now here. ZP by 60A. So it's a constant, no doubt in that. Because Z number of conductors, P number of poles, A per number of parallel paths. So all the three are constant because once you design the motor, they generally constant. So what is left now? Phi N. These are left. Okay. So now, one second. So now we will go what he has given in the problem. He has given a problem that voltage constant. Voltage constant. So generally the voltage constant is nothing but the constant which comes in the equation of back EMF. That is the voltage constant. Always remember now. Whereas torque constant, he has given another value 0.8 Newton meter per ampere square. So torque constant in the sense this is the constant. It generally comes in the equation of the torque. So voltage constant, it means the constant comes in the equation of back EMF. So first we'll discuss about the voltage constant. So how much he has given in the problem voltage constant? 0.8 V by okay 0.8 V. I will write more in detail. A into radians per second. Okay. So this is the voltage constant. So now how to find out the constant? That's important. So there is a information you will get from this unit of the voltage constant. We cannot take this directly, but we have to examine this unit. What is the unit he has given? V by ampere into radians per second. Okay. What is V? V is the unit for voltage. It is a voltage. Whereas A is the unit for current. Radians per second is the unit for angular speed omega. Okay. Angular speed. So remember that the constant is the unit of the constant is the ratio of voltage by current into omega. So then we'll bring this equation. Which equation? EB equation we'll bring here. EB is equal to ZP by 60A multiplied with phi and N. Okay. So now, so we have to convert this equation because we have to convert this equation in terms of voltage, current, and angular speed. Then only we can use this voltage constant. Otherwise, we cannot use this voltage constant. Remember now, because the voltage constant he has given in terms of voltage, current, and omega. So in that prospect or in that uh, units only, we have to convert this equation. So how to convert this equation is that I will let's see here now. ZP by 60A, okay, into what is phi? Phi is the flux from the field circuit. Phi is the flux from field circuit. Flux of field circuit. Okay. Now coming to the field circuit of this particular problem. How you are getting a how you are getting uh, the field here? You are getting the field through a semi converter. Okay. So and one more thing is that the flux in the field circuit, it depends upon how much current it is flowing here. I generally you call it as field current. You can call it as a field current. So the current which is going into the field winding is nothing but the field current. So this field current and the flux has a relationship. Always everyone know this thing that in the winding, the current in the winding and the flux developed by the winding has a direct relationship. The flux in the winding and the current flowing in the winding has a direct relationship. Okay, it's a direct. So I can write this thing that okay, flux is equal to some constant. Okay, some constant. I will write some. Okay, I can write anything here. So because we have defined so many other constants also. So to remove this ambiguity, we will take some other name here. Something some K7. I will tell. What is K7 is nothing but just it has no meaning. But already we had some K1, K2 or some kind of constants are there. To avoid the confusion between among these constants, I put here K7 IF. I will write IF. So what does this mean? The flux developed in the field winding is a function of IF. Everyone knows this thing. So that constant I am writing it as K7. So now we will use this here in this equation. That is in place of 5 we will use this then. So we will write here K. I will tell you why we are doing. See why we are doing this one. We are doing this one because we want to use this voltage constant. We want to use this value 0.8. But if you want to use this 0.8, definitely the EMF should be represented in terms of okay, that voltage constant should be represented in terms of voltage, current, and omega. Okay, next, what's next now? N is in terms of RPM. How can I convert RPM as omega? So omega is equal to 2 pi N by 60. This everyone know. So what is N from this? N is equal to 60 omega by 2 pi. 60. So yes. So in terms of n, we will write once again here. What we will write is that 60 omega by 2 pi. Why in terms of omega? Because omega, see the voltage constant he has given is in terms of omega. Then we got this equation. Okay. Then further we will use this now. Okay. We'll simplify this further. EB is equal. EB is equal. EB is equal. So all the constants we will write one side. Z is constant, P is constant, okay, divided by, see this 60 and 60 will get cancelled here. So, so what is left then? ZP, ZP and K7 is also constant. ZP, K7, okay. Now what is there in the denominator? 2 pi A. So because 60, 60 will get cancelled. So denominator you have 2 pi A, numerator ZPK7. Okay. Okay. Into, so this entire thing is a constant into IF into omega. Now you see now. Okay. What is this constant? I want to know what is this constant now. And now I am calling this constant as a voltage constant because it is in the equation of back EMF. And that voltage constant, okay. Uh, what is that voltage constant? ZPK7 by 2 pi A is equal to EB by IF into omega. See, I represented a constant in terms of this expression. So what is this expression? EB by IF omega. What is EB? EB is a voltage. So that is voltage divided by IF is the current. Omega is the angular speed. So the voltage constant which he has given in terms of voltage, current and omega. So we converted the equation also in terms of the same. So then whatever we got here, that is called as voltage constant. So this ZP into K7 by 2 pi A is the voltage constant, which is 0.8 in the given problem. So from this equation we have converted, and that equation is useful here. So EB is equal, now I said this is a voltage constant, so that voltage constant how much he has given in the problem now? It is 0.8 into IF into omega. This is the equation. So this is the equation we got from the given data. So EB is equal to 0.8 into IF omega. Okay. So then what is the next data he has given? Next to data he has given is okay. So what is the next data he has given in the problem? Please see. Yeah. And yeah, torque constant also he has given. How, in terms of which torque constant? Once again 0.8 Newton meter by ampere square. Okay, let me bring the torque constant. So we are just taking all the data here. So he has given torque constant. Torque constant. Its value he has given as 0.8 Newton meter by ampere square. Now what is Newton meter? It is the unit for torque. So it is torque. Okay. What is A square? It is current square. So we have to represent the torque constant in terms of torque by I square. So now we will go the equation for the torque. What is the torque equation? Electromagnetic torque. The torque developed in the motor, that is electromagnetic torque. Okay. So don't get confused with the electromagnetic torque and load torque. There is a difference between these two. I will tell you. First, let me write the expression for the electromagnetic torque. So electromagnetic torque expression, if you recall, okay, it is already, but once again we can do here also. So if you recall, a few things, torque is nothing but power. So that equation which is there, power is equal to 2 pi nt by 60. Okay, or just recall that equation, 2 pi nt by 60. So this 2 pi n by 60 we can write as omega. So P is equal to omega into T. Then what is T? P by omega. I will write here P by omega. See. What is P here? P is the power, voltage into current divided by omega. We got this equation. Okay. We got this equation of the torque. So now we will write further. We will write further now. So we have to TE is equal. We got EB into IA by omega. Now remember always we have to convert the equation in such a way that how you have to get the torque constant in this unit. Which unit? Newton meter by ampere square. Then only we can use this. Otherwise we cannot use this. So this is the logic behind here. So then we'll write here further. EB, how can I write EB? One equation we got just now. What is EB we got here? EB is equal to 0.8 into IF omega into IA by omega. We got this equation. We'll examine this whether this is useful or not. TE is equal to T is equal to omega will get cancelled. So 0.8 into IF IA. Okay, we got this expression. Now this expression now, see here now. So the constant which is there here we got 0.8. What is its unit? Its unit is TE by IF into IA. So I will write here 0.8 is equal to TE by IF into IA. It means 0.8 is the torque constant we can say, and it's in terms of which units? Torque unit is Newton meter by current IF. So A square. So the torque constant which is Newton meter by A square, we got the answer 0.8, and the data also he has given as 0.8. So it means the data which he has given may not be necessary here, because already we got that from the EB equation. Okay, so here also we got 0.8. The data he has given is also 0.8. So there is no confusion about that. So we got the torque constant here. And why we require this constant, we will see that later also. We'll see. Just we'll just list out from the data what we can do. We are just listing out. At the end, we'll solve the problem. Okay, what he's asking, as per that we'll solve the problem. Okay, so this data he has given. Then what's next now in the problem? Okay, then he has given one statement. Assume that the armature and field currents are continuous and constant. This is very important statement. And neglect the losses. Okay, so assume that the armature and field currents are continuous and constant. Okay, so he said they are continuous and constant. Which currents? Armature current and field current. So we'll do one thing. Where is the armature current here? This is the armature current. This is IA, armature current. Where is the field current? Yeah, this IF already have done. So these two, IA and IF, are continuous. This is important word, continuous and constant. So from this statement, we can get some information. What is the information? We'll see what is the information we can get. So IA and IF are continuous and constant. So it means the current in the armature and the current in the field winding, they are continuous. Okay. So they are continuous. IA and IF are continuous. So when IA and IF are continuous, okay, how you are getting IA? You are getting IA from a semi-converter. Whereas how you are getting IF also you are getting from a semi-converter. And he said in the problem, both the currents are continuous. It means we can come to this conclusion that both the semi-converters are operating in the continuous conduction mode. Why I am saying they are operating in the continuous conduction mode is that the currents coming from those two converters are continuous. That is the data he has given in the problem. So from this data, we can come to this conclusion that the converters, semi-converters are operating in continuous conduction mode. This is important statement. They are operating in the continuous conduction mode. So this is important. Okay. Then next, what's next? So he said neglect losses. So we will use that also. How we will use that? Okay, neglect losses. This is also one more statement. So next, what he is asking, find the following: field current, firing angle of the semiconductor in the armature circuit, power factor of the semiconductors in the armature circuit. So one by one we can find out. So this neglect losses, we will remember this word. Okay, and we'll slowly solve the problem. First question is that what is the field current? We'll write here losses are neglected.
Sir, what does it mean by constant, sir? Akkada continuous and constant అన్నాడు కదా sir.
Yeah, that's a good question. I will tell you now. So what is meant by constant in the sense? See here. Okay. So if you draw the waveform for the armature current, or if you draw the waveform for the field current, let me tell you one thing. Okay. So I will just write this side. Okay. Coming to this side. Okay. So we will just recall the motor. Entire circuit diagram I will redraw here so that you will understand what is meant by constant there. Okay, this is the semiconductor and it is joined here and here. Then you have a freewheeling diode that also we have seen last class. This is the freewheeling diode. Then it goes to the motor. This is the armature resistance and its armature leakage inductance. This is motor armature. Okay. Now the field part I will not draw. We'll explain about the right now. We'll explain about this only armature part. If you understand the armature part, the same explanation can be extended to the field circuit also. Okay. Now he said in the problem, armature current IA is continuous and constant. Now you are asking what does mean by this constant? Is that the question you are asking? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I will explain now. You see here. So if I want to know what is the waveform of this current, I want to draw the waveform of the current IA. What is the waveform? That we'll see here. What is the how we will get the waveform here? Okay. So first of all, it is a continuous conduction. So if it is a continuous conduction, for that case, we'll draw the waveform. Better we will use the straight line so that okay. Then okay. So this is supply voltage Vs, supply voltage Vs. Let me draw the waveform here for one cycle. This is pi, this is 2 pi. Oh, this is pi, this is 2 pi. Okay, this we can consider as output supply voltage. Coming to the output voltage, VA. Where is output voltage? The output voltage is here. The output voltage of the converter is VA. Okay, that comes just after the freewheeling diode. That's unfortunately that is or accidentally or whatever we say coincidentally it is the voltage which is going to the armature of the motor. Okay, that voltage we will draw. Now remember we will draw for the continuous conduction. So if you remember the last class, what is the waveform you got for the continuous conduction? Okay, that a firing angle alpha. Firing angle alpha. So if you recall carefully, then you will understand yourself is that for this waveform is for the continuous conduction. Now, this waveform we got already in the last class. So I don't need to tell once again. Okay. Now I am interested to know what is the current in the armature now. Okay. Now this is alpha pi, this is pi plus alpha, and this is 2 pi, and this is 0. Okay. Now alpha, what is alpha? Here is the alpha, firing angle alpha. So this is everything I'm just recalling from the last class. Nothing I'm not doing anything new here. Just recalling and I'm drawing the waveform of the. Now you see. Now I want to draw the IA waveform. Okay. I want to draw the IA waveform. Okay. So Yeah, this is pi plus alpha. Pi plus alpha. So let's erase this because it didn't come properly. Okay, so we got this axis. We got this axis. Now, okay, what is the current? We have to examine this here carefully. We have to examine. Okay. Um, at alpha, at pi plus alpha, at 2 pi. So, okay, what is the current here at alpha? First, we'll start from alpha. Remember, it is a continuous conduction. So, you know very well that the current in the armature will never come to zero. This is nothing but the continuous conduction. They don't become zero. Okay. So, what is the current waveform now? You see yourself. You are applying a voltage. That's a sinusoidal voltage you are applying. Okay. From alpha, you are applying after alpha, you are applying a sinusoidal voltage till pi, because that is the voltage which is going to your armature of the motor. Okay. So the armature of the motor, this is the voltage which is going. So that voltage is va. This voltage is va, and that voltage is sinusoidal voltage you are giving to the motor. So I will just cut this part. I will just redraw the circuit diagram here. This is a motor. Okay. Now I will not draw the field circuit. Please, you can imagine that yourself. This is IA, and the voltage here is VA. Now, what is the voltage VA we got from the waveform? You got the waveform something like this. I will just put here. This is VA. This VA, it has come from here. So this voltage you are giving here. Then what is the current waveform IA? How can you find out the current waveform IA? Already we have done some kind of analysis that okay, you will apply KVL here. Then this is RA, this is LA. The EMF has back EMF will be there, EB. Okay. Then VA is equal to IA RA plus LA DIA by DT plus EB. So we will solve this equation. I hope if you remember, we already solved this equation IA value. Last class itself we have solved, but we have solved for the discontinuous conduction, not for the continuous conduction. But the procedure remains same, because solving a differential equation, whether it is continuous, discontinuous, maths or physics or chemistry, whichever subject you go, solving a differential equation, that procedure will not change. So using that procedure you can solve, then you will get IA value. Some IA you will get here. So as VA is a sinusoidal function, because you see VA is a part of sinusoidal function here, that we have seen from this, for this duration, that is from alpha to pi. For this duration, if you recall, VA is nothing but Vm sin omega t. Just recall that yourself. So then what is IA value? You are giving a sinusoidal function and also you are giving a back EMF. Then you will definitely get a sinusoidal function. The IA value is also a sinusoidal function plus a DC value. So the roughly I will draw the waveform here. Roughly I will draw the waveform here. Remember, it's a rough waveform. Okay, because this current waveform you will get after solving this differential equation that we have solved already. For the discontinuous conduction mode we have solved, but for the continuous conduction mode we did not solve the current waveform, if you remember last previous classes. So anyhow you can solve this, the differential equation. And what I'm saying is that when you solve this differential equation, what is the function you will get here? Okay, the IA function what you will get here, that I'm telling. How I'm telling is that this IA depends upon, one is VA, the other one is EB, because EB is a constant whereas VA is a sinusoidal function. Remaining is RA plus LA DIA by DT. That's a differential equation, first order differential equation. Remaining two you can call them as forcing functions, that also we have discussed last class. So one forcing function is a sinusoidal function, the other forcing function is a DC value. So you have two forcing functions, and we know very well in steady state, the the steady state response of any function in a first order differential equation, it depends simply on its excitation. Now, what is its excitation? Two excitations are there. One is sinusoidal excitation, the other is back EMF. So, because of the sinusoidal excitation, the response is also a sinusoidal. I hope you might have remembered this thing, that when you have a differential equation, maybe it's a first order, second order, whichever may be the order of the differential equation. For that differential equation, if the forcing function is a sinusoidal function, the response is also a sinusoidal function. This is the thing which you might have learned in the differential equations. Similarly, when the excitation function is a DC value, here what is the DC value? Back EMF is the DC value. Of course, that DC value also varies, but I can say this thing, it's a DC value. So this DC value, back EMF, if the forcing function is a DC value, its response is also DC. This is the one more statement you might have studied in the differential equations in the mathematics. That okay, I can say at the end that the IA function is a combination of sinusoidal and DC. Why it is a combination of sinusoidal and DC? Because you have a DC value EB and also you have a sinusoidal function. Two forcing functions are there, two excitations are there. So the response is also, as per superposition principle, you can find out response individually because it's a linear circuit. So we can find out the total response. So sinusoidal and DC, sinusoidal and DC. So it's a combination of sin. So what is the waveform which is a combination of sinusoidal and DC? You will get something. I'm saying that it's not exact waveform, but a similar kind of waveform you will get like this. You will get like this. Okay. So I will just redraw here. Because the voltage is varying, so the current is also whereas in case of pi to pi plus alpha, it's only freewheeling diode. So freewheeling diode, in the sense, only back EMF will be there, and that back EMF is decreasing. So I will say approximately this is the waveform. This is the waveform of the current. So this is the current waveform IA. So let me extend this further.
Sir,
Yeah, please tell, please.
sir, current won't increase from current alpha నుంచి పై వరకు ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది కదా సార్, అలా ఏం కాదా సార్?
Yeah, alpha to pi, see, let me tell you, current increases, but you see from alpha to pi, the voltage decreases. You see, am I correct?
Yes,
See,
sir.
alpha to certain value, alpha, your voltage increases. See, what I'm saying is that
Yes.
alpha
Yes,
to,
sir, understood.
you understood now? Alpha to some value, I think
Yes,
it
sir,
is
it
pi
is
by 2.
higher.
Yeah, it is pi by 2. Am I correct? Till pi by 2, the voltage increases. After the decrease, that is the nature of sinusoidal function. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So similarly, the current waveform will also be similarly like that. That is the reason that I put like this. And one thing I will tell you, that please remember, this is not the exact waveform of IA. I can say this thing, that IA is a combination of sinusoidal and DC. That's what I'm saying. And how I draw is
Okay.
that using, as the voltage is decreasing, I am imagining myself current is also decreasing. Okay. And whereas from pi to pi plus alpha, the freewheeling diode is conducting, so the output voltage is 0. Am I correct? The output voltage is 0. So only the energy which is there in the inductor will be dissipating through this process. Yes. So that's the reason that, so it is a approximate waveform which I have drawn here. Okay, just based on the assumption that the voltage decreases here. Okay. So till now you understood now? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will tell you what is constant here. Okay, this waveform looks like, see here, this waveform looks like, please see here, this waveform is a continuous conduction waveform. The waveform is a continuous. Am I correct now? This first one is correct, continuous. IA is continuous. Is the first one satisfying here from this waveform? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now second one, constant. I will tell you what is meant by constant is that, you see yourself, is the waveform is a constant or variable waveform? You see yourself, you just see yourself, the waveform, the current waveform is a constant. Does it have a constant value, or it is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing? So it's a changing one. Can I say like this? The current is a continuous, but it is a changing one. Yes or no? Current
Yes,
is
sir.
it is a continuous. I will say, I'm 100% sure that it is continuous, but changing. It's a changing in the sense, you see the current rising, falling. Am I correct or not? So this waveform is a continuous but changing one. Okay. Now the question, what the in the data, what he said is that it is a continuous, it is a continuous, it is a continuous, it is a continuous but constant, he said. So constant in the sense, what you will get the waveform here is that I will draw now. Constant in the sense is simple. Okay. Okay. What you will get here is that now I am drawing IA. Once again, I am drawing IA, which is continuous but constant. So what is that constant? Is that simple? Is just a horizontal line. So he's saying that the current waveform is like this, not this in this particular problem. Do you understand now? The waveform here is a actual waveform. Here you get a continuous but changing. But what he's asking us to assume, he's asking us to assume what he's asking to us assume, that the current is a continuous but constant. Now you see yourself, the second waveform which I draw for IA, is it not a horizontal line? So is it not looking like a continuous waveform but constant waveform? Am I correct? Yes or no? Please answer yes or
Yes,
no.
sir. Yes,
So now you understood what is this continuous and constant? Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay. So now I will say one thing, that you must know this thing, that in which case the waveform will be like this, that continuous and constant. In which case, what is the condition? What is the condition that you may get this kind of waveform? Okay. So I will tell you, this kind of waveform you will get, and remember, not exactly the constant but near constant you will get. Okay. Of course, if you look at this first waveform of the IA, uh, it's not a constant one, it is a changing. You see, continuously it is changing. Whereas the second waveform, if you see, it's just a horizontal line. So it's a continuous and constant. So this kind of situation will come in case when LA, this LA is there, armature inductance LA, this LA in the problem here, LA. If this LA is very large, if this LA value is very large, in those cases there is a possibility that the armature current is a constant one, near constant one you will get here. So this LA, if so, this kind of cases, you will get the current is continuous and constant. In normal conditions, the current is continuous but changing. Okay. This is, you must understand. But when you will get LA is very large, in the sense, it depends on the design of the motor. So if the design of the motor is such a way that the LA, the inductance of the field inductance of the winding is very large, in those cases only you will get a continuous and constant. Okay. Now in the problem, in the particular problem, if you recall, he did not given the value of LA. Just see this. Already I told you, this LA value he has not given in the problem. This LA value he has not given in the problem. So, but he has given one data. What data? It's a continuous and constant. Not only the armature current, even the field current is also continuous and constant. So it means the LA LF value he has not given in the problem, but instead of giving that, he has given one statement. What is that statement? Armature and field currents are continuous and constant. So this is possible when the inductances are very large. Always remember, when the inductances are large values, then only you will get the currents are continuous and constant. Okay. So how you will get see LA value? If LA value is large, you will get the constant, I said. But how can you make this inductance large? In sense, it depends upon the design, how you design the armature, that, and also what is the magnetic circuit you have used in the armature. So based upon all those calculations, you will know the LA value is large value or small value. Okay, now you understood the doubt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we will go to the question. What is the question? Is that find the field current? First question is find the field current. So he's asking what is IF value. So how to find out IF value? As of now, we got so many equations. All these equations will sort out, and yeah, one equation EB. This EB equation is there. This EB equation will bring here. We got some EB equation. In that equation, there is IF. Why we are bringing is that in the equation of EB, I have IF, which I require. I will just put here. Yeah, this EB equation. First question we are solving now. So he's asking what is IF value. Okay, IF value. So please see this now. So in this equation, you have, what do you have here? You have EB is equal to 0.8 into IF into omega. So to find out IF, what is IF from this equation? EB by 0.8 into omega. So if you want to know what is IF, I must know what is EB, I must know what is omega. So one by one we will find out. How to find out EB? First question is how to find out EB. To find out EB, we will recall some more equations. There is one equation in the DC motors that VA is equal to EB plus IA RA. I hope everyone remember this equation. EB is equal, sorry, VA is equal to EB plus IA RA. Using this equation, there is a possibility that we can find out what is EB. Okay. To find out EB, yeah, this is one way. Okay. This is one way. So yeah, what is, how can I find out EB from this? VA minus IA RA by, yeah, that's it. VA minus IA RA. How can I find out VA? VA is the armature voltage, which is, so VA is nothing but output of semi-converter. It is just nothing but output of semi-converter. Which semi-converter? Armature semi-converter. So it is, VA is output of armature semi-converter. So what is the, if you recall the previous equations, okay, what is the output of semi-converter? We got the average output voltage we have derived in the previous classes. In that classes, if you recall, for discontinuous conduction mode also, we have derived the output voltage of the armature, output voltage of the semi-converter. For the continuous conduction also, we have, derived the output of semi-converter. So both the cases we have derived and we got the expressions in the both the cases. But in this case, which one you solved is that just now we come to this conclusion that the semi-converters are operating in the continuous conduction mode. That data he has given. So for this, for the continuous conduction mode, if you go through the previous class derivation, what you will get, the average output voltage of the semi-converter is that Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha A. Why I'm saying A is that it is the firing angle of the semi-converter which is used in the armature. So this is the expression we will use. This is the suitable expression here. Why it is a suitable expression here is that because Vm by because this is a continuous conduction mode, so we can find out. So once again, to find out Va, what we require now, Vm we have to find out. We can find out Vm easily because in the problem he has given the RMS value, that is 230 volts 50 hertz RMS value he has given. What is that value? It is the RMS value. Then what is the maximum value? 230 into root 2. For sinusoidal function, it is 230 into root 2. So we got Vm value. Then what is alpha A? Once again, you got this question, alpha A. Is the alpha A is the firing angle here? So as he given the firing angle in the problem? No, he has not given the firing angle. Rather, he is asking what is the firing angle. He is asking us only what is the firing angle in the second question. So without knowing this alpha A, we cannot find out Va. If we don't find out Va, then we cannot find out Eb. If we can't find out Eb, then from the equation which we have here, the equation which you got here, IF is equal to EB by 0.8 omega, we cannot solve this using this equation. Then we have to search for alternate equation to find out IF. Then we'll go to the circuit of your field circuit, what he has given in the problem. See, he has given, yeah, one important data he has given. Okay. Second, there is another procedure. See, in this procedure which I've explained, using this procedure we cannot find out because we need to know what is alpha A. Then only we will know Va. So because of so many unknowns here, it's not possible. But there is another case he has given. What is that? Is that in the problem he has given one data, that is RF. Field resistance he has given. How much he has given in the problem? 200 ohm. So if we know Vf, what is Vf, then we can easily find out Vf is equal to If into Rf. We can find out this equation because the field voltage is nothing but field current into field resistance. Because of course, even though you have field inductance, okay, but what is the advantage for us is that that field inductance and an average VL, the voltage across the inductor, is 0. I think I might have told you in the previous classes or somewhere. Always the average voltage across the inductor is 0. Similarly, the average current in a capacitor is 0. you may better it's remember this these statements that average voltage across an inductor is always zero. Similarly, average current in a capacitor is always zero. So even though in the field circuit you have a inductor, but its average voltage is zero because it's inductor. So as it is average voltage is zero, then only one voltage is left. That is the voltage across the resistor. Vf is equal to If into Rf. We can write like this. Generally, it should be like this. I will write here. Vf is equal to VLF plus VRF. This is the KVL equation. But when you take the average of this, Vf average is equal to VLF average plus VRF average. Now, just now I told you, any average inductor voltage, its value is zero. Then you may think yourself why it is zero. So VRF average. So we got this. So what is VRF average? It is IF into RF. So we got this equation. So from this equation, we can find out IF. This is second clue we got. That is VF average is equal to IF into RF. RF he has given in the problem. That is 200 ohm. Then what is the only unknown here? VF average. What is VF average? Okay, then we'll go to circuit. If you go to the circuit, the voltage coming to the field circuit is also from a semi-converter. It's important. The voltage going to the field circuit, that is VF, is also from a semi-converter that he has given in the problem. So the output of the semi-converter is nothing but the field voltage. Which semi-converter? The semi-converter which is connected in the field circuit. So we will find out the output of, I will write here myself that VF average is nothing but output of, it is nothing semi-converter. Which semi-converter? The semi-converter connected to field winding. So the semi-converter which is connected to the field winding, if you know what is the output voltage of that semi-converter, then we can find out it's nothing but VF average. Okay. Then what is the output of semi-converter? Once again, the output of semi-converter, that is nothing but VF average, both are same. So the output of semi-converter, you have the expression for the output of semi-converter. Last class also we got two expressions. One is for the discontinuous conduction mode, the other is continuous conduction mode. As in this problem, it is a continuous conduction mode. We will use this expression Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha f. I will write this time because it's a field circuit. So Vm we got how much? 230 root 2 by pi into 1 plus cos. Now cos alpha f he has given in the problem. In the data he has given in the problem. How much it is? Alpha f is equal to 0. That he has given data. So we'll substitute there. Then cos 0. Okay, then it becomes 1 plus 1, 2. So 460 into root 2 by pi. So we will use this calculator here. Okay, we will use this calculator and we will find out what is that value. So VF value. So 460 into 1.414. So root 2 divided by pi. Pi value is there here. So we got 207. Yes, we got 207 point. So we'll approximate that as 207 volts. So we got VF. So use this equation here. Here. Use this equation here because here we require. Then 207 is equal to IF into RF is how much? 200. So we can easily find out IF. What is IF now? IF is equal to this value divided by 200. 1.035. Okay, I will write that. So first question we have solved, that is 1.035 ampere IF value. Okay. Second question. What is the second question? Firing angle of the semi-converter in the armature circuit. So we have to find out, second question B, we have to find out alpha A. He's asking what is alpha A. Yeah, how to find out alpha A? Once again, where should we get the alpha A? First of all, where do you find out this alpha A? In one expression, I remember that is VA is equal to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha A. In this expression, we have alpha A. So if you know all the remaining things, we can easily find out alpha A. And we know very well that this is the valid expression for this problem because it's a continuous conduction. Okay, then how can I find out alpha A from this? Okay, to find out alpha A, Vm already know, that is 230 root 2. So Va we should know what is Va. So if you know what is Va, we can easily find out here. So to find out Va, we have another expression. Just now I told you that Eb plus Ia Ra. Okay, then Eb value we have to find out. What is Eb value? We got one expression just now. What is Eb value expression? Yeah, 0.8 into If into omega. Yes, we got Eb. So 0.8 into If into omega. So 0.8 into If value just now we got, that is 1.035 into omega. Omega value, how do you find out? Omega angular frequency, angular speed. So yeah, there is expression for angular speed, that is omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. So what is n in this problem now? We are solving for n is equal to 900 rpm. So 2 pi into 900 by 60. So then, so simplify this. 0 will get cancelled. So 180 by 6. So 30 pi. It is 30 pi. So omega is equal to 30 pi. Okay. Yes, you check here. Yeah, 30 pi. That's it. So 30 pi. So I will write here 30 pi. Then what is EB value? So we use the calculator here once again.
78.03, sir.
17.03. Thanks very much. Okay, just as I'm doing. Yeah, that's correct. 78.0. Okay, 05. Okay, no problem. How much you got? 78.037. Okay, I will write that only. That's not a big matter. So we got this voltage. So EB we got the voltage. So then VA is equal to EB how much now? 78.03 plus IA value that we don't know once again. RA value how much he has given the problem? 0.3. Then we will find out what is IA. How to find out IA? We know any other equations? Yeah, we have already got one equation for torque. You recall the torque equation? Yeah, this equation. TE is equal to 0.8 IF IA. We'll go that equation. So TE is equal to, better I will just copy that equation here. Yeah. Yeah, we have this equation now. TE is equal to 0.8 into IFIA. So we'll write. Okay. So in this equation, okay, what is TE? TE is how much? That we don't know. He has not given the value of TE. Electromagnetic torque he has given. He has not given. But low torque he has given. What is the low torque in the problem he has given? It is a 50 Newton meter. What is the difference between electromagnetic torque and low torque? Electromagnetic torque is, see, I will show the waveform here, the circuit diagram. So here, the torque in the motor, I will use blue color. So here, the torque is TE. Here, the load is TL. Between TE and TL, there are some losses always. TE is the electromagnetic torque, TL is the load torque. So between these two torques, there are some mechanical losses. That's always there. TL value we know, but we don't know the value of TE. But one statement he has given, if you recall, neglect losses. That's important. So as he said himself that you have to neglect the losses, then I can say this thing that TE is equal to TL. There is no losses between electromagnetic torque and load torque that he has given. So TE that is equal TE I will write because there are no losses. So using this, we'll bring this equation. 50 is equal to 0.8 into IF is 1.0375. Is it 1.0375? 0.35 only. 0.35 into IA. Now please answer me what is IA now.
60.386.
60.386. That's okay. So we got IA value. So if we got IA, why we are searching all these things? I think, yeah, to find out what is VA. Yes, now we'll bring this here. We know everything in the VA. So VA is equal to EB value is, this equation only. We don't need to write once again. So 78.03 plus IA value is 60.386 into 0.3. Please answer now. What is the value of VA? We'll do everything here. What is VA?
96.14.
90.
6.14, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we got VA value here. So we substitute the VA here. Everything why we are doing is that we want to find out what is alpha A. That is the agenda we have here. So we'll put here 96.14. That is equal VM is 230 root 2 by pi into 1 plus cos alpha A. Please find out what is alpha A now. At the end, we'll find out what is alpha A. What is alpha A? What is alpha A? So you can use the calculator here and please tell me what is the answer alpha A.
$94.09.
Okay, thank you. So then I will write directly here 94.09. Okay, thank you. So this is the alpha A firing angle we got. That's over. So second problem also we have solved. Now third problem, that is C. That is C. Okay. We are finding out the third problem. Okay. So what is the third question he is asking? He is asking us to find out the power factor of semiconductors in the armature circuit. That is the third question. The power factor of the semiconductors in the armature circuit. So yeah, he's asking this power factor. For every AC circuit, please remember, for every AC circuit there is a power factor. So he's asking the power factor here. Power factor. So better I will do one thing, that I will just bring this circuit here. Which circuit is that? This is the semiconductor. I'm drawing the semiconductor of the field circuit. Okay. So the supply you are getting here 230 volts, 50 Hz. Now where is the field winding? Here is your field winding. Yeah, plus minus. So he is asking the power factor of the semiconductor. So because of the semiconductor, okay, we'll just read the statement here to avoid confusion. Yeah, the power factor of semiconductors in the armature circuit. Oh, he's asking on the armature circuit, not in the field circuit. Okay, sorry. So okay, take it as we'll do one thing. Okay. Okay, so this is the semiconductor. And here is your supply that is going to the semiconductor. Okay, 230 volts and 50 Hz. And the output of the semiconductor is going to the motor. So armature. So he's asking what is the power factor here. Always remember power factor in the sense he's asking the power factor at the source. Okay, why at the source is because source is the AC. So he's asking this power factor. He's asking the power factor here. Why only here in the sense everyone knows this thing that the output of your semiconductor is a DC. So the output of semiconductor is DC, whereas the input of your semiconductor is AC. So output is DC. So in case of DC, power factor is not defined. It's undefined one. There is no power factor in case of your DC. Okay, the power factor is only in case of the AC only. So AC side he is asking the power factor. So how to find out the power factor? Okay, that's a big question. One second. So you may know some kind of equations, VI cos theta. This is one equation, Okay. So PF is equal to VI cos theta, this equation. So what is cos theta here? That the cos theta here is the power factor. So from this equation, we can easily find out power factor. But what is the problem is that you must know this thing, that this equation is valid only for the sinusoidal waveform. Sinusoidal waveforms. This equation is valid only for the sinusoidal waveforms. For non-sinusoidal waveform, this equation you cannot use. I think I told you this thing when I was explaining some topics on the power electronics last semester. I explained that in the last semester, we have come to this point that how to find out the power factor when you have the power electronic converters. When we have the power electronic converters, this equation is there. PF is equal to VI cos theta. This equation we cannot use directly. Why we cannot use this directly is that this equation is only for the sinusoidal waveforms. And we have seen very well that for the power electronic converters, the input current waveform, that is I. Yes, I will write. I will write IS. This IS is a non-sinusoidal. Non-sinusoidal. It's a non-sinusoidal. IS is non-sinusoidal whenever you have a power electronic circuit in your system. Whenever you have a power electronic circuit in your system, in that system, the supply current is always non-sinusoidal. Of course, the supply voltage is sinusoidal because it's a source, but current is a non-sinusoidal source. Current is a non-sinusoidal waveform. This why it is so, this I'm not going to tell because last semester only I have explained. You just recall that. If you don't understand, you can ask me why it is so. So IS value is a non-sinusoidal waveform, whereas the supply voltage is a sinusoidal waveform. So when you have a non-sinusoidal waveforms, this equation we cannot use. Then how to find out the power factor? Then there is another way to find out the power factor. What is that way? Power factor is the ratio of apparent power. Of course, apparent power is in the denominator, whereas what do you find out in the numerator is that the real power. I hope everyone remember this basic equation. Real power divided by apparent power. So in this way also we can find out. So what is the real power here? The real power is nothing but the power of the output power of your semi-converter that is going to the motor. So this we can take it as the real power because this power is actually working. This power is actually being used to run the motor. So as this power is being used to run the motor, that power you call it as the real power always. What about the apparent power? Apparent power is the power at the source side. Power at the source side. So I will write here. Apparent power is nothing but Vs into Is. And remember, this is all are RMS values. Vs RMS, Is RMS. I hope you remember this thing, that what is apparent power. It's VRMS into IRMS. What about the real power? Generally, you will write this equation. Real power in the sense, generally you will write VA cos theta. But what I said just now is that this VA cos theta you cannot use here directly because this is a power electronic circuit here. So how to find out the real power now? To find out the real power is nothing but the power which is doing the work. That is the real power. You might have known these basics from the previous semester also. Real power is nothing but the power which is doing the work here. Now, what is the power which is doing what is the work here actually? The work is to run the motor. That is the work. Now, who is running the motor here? The power which is going to the motor armature. This power you can take it as the real power. You can take it as the real power because he said the power factor you find out for the armature circuit he is asking. So we don't need to worry about the field circuit. Only for the armature circuit, what is the real power? What is the real power in the armature circuit? What is the apparent power in the armature circuit? These two will find out, and we'll find out the ratio between those two. So what is the real power in the armature circuit? The real power in the armature circuit is the real power which is going to the motor. So I can say this thing, that this is the real power. This is the real power which is going to the motor. So this is the power which is doing the work here. So what is that power? So can I say this power as, so power is nothing but once again voltage into current. What is the voltage here? It is VA. The voltage here is VA. What is the current? The current here, IA, is the same current here because it's a series circuit. So VA into IA. So VA into IA divided by VS RMS by IS RMS. So this equation we will use to find out the power factor. So what is VA now? VA is the voltage here. Now here you don't get the question whether VA is the RMS value or the average value. Please remember now. VA is the RMS value or average value. Okay. Not average value. So generally here you got RMS value. Here also you may think that it's not RMS value. Please remember now. Because it's a DC. Because output of your semi-converter is a DC. So you will find out the average values only, not the RMS value. So what is the average value here? VA. VA already we have find out. Somewhere we got the answer. Which one now? Somewhere we got VA. Just now we calculated. How much is VA here? Yeah, 96.14. This is VA we got. So we put here 96.14 into IA. That also we calculated. Somewhere we calculated IA. Just let me go. Yeah, this one. Just now we calculated 60 into 60.386. So 60.386 divided by VSRMS. How much? 230. That we know. Then what is ISRMS? This we don't know. This we don't know. Okay. So how to find out VSRMS here? Okay, because this is the question now. It is left now at the end. So if we find out that, then we can easily find out. Okay, we can easily find out the power factor. So last one thing it is left now, that is ISRMS. Okay. So see, it may take 5 or 10 minutes more only. So within that time, I will complete the topic here. I will complete this problem. Otherwise, it's difficult for us to solve the problem once again. So let me complete that totally. Okay. So okay. So I think I'm just checking. So do you have any other class after this class? After 12? I think you don't have any other class. So I can take 5 to 10 minutes, no problem. Okay. Okay.
We have 2:15.
Okay, then thank you. I will just take only 5 minutes more. Okay. Now we are in the search of what is ISRMS. How to find out ISRMS? Always remember ISRMS, what I said now? The input of semi-converter, the current which is coming from the supply, or you can say the input of the semi-converter. The input current of the semi-converter is nothing but the source current, and that source current RMS value we have to find out. How do you find out the RMS value or average value of any signal? We have a procedure to find out the RMS value of any signal only when you know the waveform of that signal. Okay, then we don't have any other option other than drawing the source waveform here. Okay, so then I will recall this picture once again. I will just copy this picture somewhere else here. Okay, so I'll just copy this here. Okay, yeah, here we have some space. Yeah, we'll just paste this now here. Yeah, I brought this here. Now where is IS here in this problem? The IS in this circuit diagram is here. This is IS. Now we have to draw the waveform of IS. How to draw the waveform of IS? If we draw the waveform of IS, then we can easily find out its RMS value, because there is the only procedure as of now we know. We don't know any other procedure other than that. Okay, so this is x-axis. So this is y-axis. This is supply voltage. Okay, so first let me draw the supply voltage here. This is pi, this is 2 pi, and I will write myself it is alpha, it is pi plus alpha, so that yeah please see this now. So first let me draw any waveform you want to draw. Always remember you must to draw the voltage waveform, supply voltage waveform. I may not draw so exactly, please you can adjust that. So this is alpha and this is pi plus alpha, this is 2 pi. Okay, now remember I will draw directly the waveform of IS. So for that you must be very careful how I am drawing. It's important. Okay, but before that I would like to draw the waveform of IA, because from that information we have got some important data we will get here. Yeah, recall what is the IA waveform in this problem. Just now someone asked me this doubt and I have explained the doubt and I told you exactly what is the waveform of IA. In this problem the waveform of IA is a horizontal line. because in the problem he has given it's a continuous and constant. It's a horizontal line, no doubt in that. So that horizontal line we'll draw here. We'll draw here. So I will draw in the blue color. Yeah. Yes. This is your IA. I have drawn IA as a horizontal line. Remember. Now, what is the height of this horizontal line? What is the height of this horizontal line? Just now we find out IA value. How much is IA value we have find out? 60.386. This is IA value. So the height of this line, okay. So height of this line is 60.386. Okay. So IA value we got. So, and we know the waveform is the horizontal line because it's a continuous and constant value. Now we will draw the waveform of IS. This is that's what exactly we want. IS. Okay. We'll just see now. Please see this now. IS. So now you see yourself what is IS. What is IS? So IS. So we'll take from alpha to pi. What exactly happens from alpha to pi? From alpha to pi. Okay. This is T1, T2, D2, D1. From alpha to pi, I told you when I explained the operation there, T1 and D2 will conduct. This I told you. T1 and D2 will conduct from alpha to pi. So I will just let me take that as a red color. Okay. So it flows from T1 D2, T1 D2. Okay, and through the motor. So better I will write here myself. What is the direction? What is the direction? So T1. Okay, T1. Then motor. Okay, then motor. Then motor. Then motor. Then the diode D2. Then it flows like this. So these red color lines which I have drawn, this is the closed path from alpha to pi. Remaining all, that is D1, D2 and freewheeling diode, all the three are off. It's important. All the three are off. So when all the three are off, only T1, D2 are conducting. I can simply say this thing that IS is same as IA because you see yourself, there is only one closed path now. What is the closed path now? Supply voltage T1 and the motor and the D2 and supply voltage. So the current here IS is nothing but the current in the T1 and it is nothing but the current in the motor. So I will say from alpha to pi, alpha less than equal to omega less than equal to pi, IS is equal to IA. This is the step we got. Okay. So from alpha to pi, what is IS? IS is same as IA. What is IA here? IA is a horizontal line from alpha to pi. And how much it is? Horizontal line. So I will draw a horizontal line. Yes. And that height is same as IA because IS is equal to IA from alpha to pi. Okay. What about the next duration from pi? From pi to omega t pi plus alpha. For this duration, what will happen? So for this duration, if you recall yourself, from pi to pi plus alpha, I have already explained in the previous class that freewheeling diode will conduct. I have already explained that freewheeling diode will conduct. This green color which I have drawn now, it is from pi to pi plus alpha. So this is the closed path. So the from pi to pi plus alpha, this green color path will be there. A red color path will not be there. So when the current is flowing in this green color path, what is the current in IS here? IS will be 0. Why IS will be 0? Because you see yourself, only this is the closed path from pi to pi plus alpha. That is through the motor and the freewheeling diode. There is no current in the left side of the circuit diagram. So left side of the circuit diagram, there is no current in the sense the IS value is 0 from pi to pi plus alpha. So that I will draw here. IS value is 0 from pi to pi plus alpha. So from pi to pi plus alpha, IS value is 0. Similarly from alpha to, so similarly it repeats, the waveform will repeat. So we'll write 0, okay, whereas here is this height, okay. So that's it. So I will complete the waveform now. If I complete the waveform, what I will get here is that, so from 0 to alpha it is 0, then it is now you see here alpha to pi it is IA, then it is once again 0, then so you see it's a pulse. So the current waveform IS is a pulse. It's a pulse. See very carefully, it's a pulse. And what is its time period? 0 to pi. So pi is the time period. So the pulse repeats here. So for this waveform, we have to find out the RMS value. So IS RMS we'll find out. Why I'm finding RMS here? Why not average value? Because this is a source side. Source side in the sense RMS value we find out already. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll do one thing now. We'll find out the RMS value of this waveform. Okay, so what is the RMS value equation? I will just 1 by time period integral 0 to time period is whole square, okay, is whole square is whole square by d omega t, okay, over square root. This is the RMS value, okay. So that is equal to square root of 1 by time period is pi, because you see the time period is pi, integral 0 to pi, okay. What is is value from 0 to pi? Because is value from 0 to pi, okay, we can divide this 0 to pi into two parts. One is 0 to alpha and another is alpha to pi. So 0 to alpha it is 0. So I will just make this, I hope you will understand this, because 0 to alpha it is 0. So that part I'm just deleting, that integration part will be deleting. So from alpha to pi, what is is value? Is value is just IA. Just IA value, because is is equal to IA and it's a constant value. So whole square into d of omega t. Okay. Then that implies square root of 1 by pi IA square, because IA is a constant. So IA square is also constant. So IA square into omega
Sir,
t.
1 by pi square.
Yeah, please tell 1 by. Please, is it
I
1 by
think
pi
so.
square or?
I think 1 by.
Yeah. Please answer if I may be wrong. I think it's you are saying 1 by pi square. You are saying here.
Yes, sir.
I don't think so. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll just cross check here. No problem.
It's just 1 by pi, sir.
It's, I think, yeah.
No,
Yeah. Please see this now. I think it's 1 by pi. Okay. I think
Yes, sir.
yeah. Now you agree now? Square root of 1 by t integral 0.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we'll go ahead with that. Okay. Yes. So if you are convinced here, then that is equal to 1 by pi 1 by pi. So is square we will put as it is into, yeah, omega t substitute from alpha to pi. I'm sorry, not from 0 to pi, alpha to pi. So alpha to pi in the sense pi minus alpha. Yes, pi minus alpha you will get over square root. So that is equal to square root of 1 by pi. Yeah, what is IA value? We find out IA value here. How much? 60.38. Yes, 60.38 whole square to pi minus. What is alpha? What is alpha we got here? That is alpha in the armature circuit we got. In the particular,
94 points.
yeah, that's
94.09.
yeah, 94.09. That's correct. So in that case, we should not forget that we have to represent everything in the degrees, not in the radians. So this is pi is in the radians. Then alpha also you have to represent it in radians. Otherwise, you better represent pi also in terms of degrees. So how much? 180. I hope you understand this. Pi value is 180. Why I'm writing in terms of one? Otherwise, you can do one thing, that rather than doing all these things, as the formula itself is in radians, we should not deviate from that. The correct procedure is that you represent it as pi only minus how much it is? 94 point. How much you said?
09.
09. Okay. So now it is in degrees. So how can I convert this into radians? because everything is in radians. So it's better we convert the degrees into radians. How much its value? So pi radians is 180 degrees. So I think pi by 180 into 94.09, I think. So please find out and tell me what is this value. Pi by 180 into 94.09, and we'll put that here. We'll put that here.
1.64.
1.64.
64.
So if it is 1. Yeah, no problem. I also don't know.
Pi by 180 you said, sir.
1.64 is it?
Yes, sir. Pi by 180 into 94.09.
Yeah. So no
Sir,
problem.
it's 180 by pi, sir.
It's 180 by.
Yeah. We have to multiply it with 180 by pi, maybe.
No, it's not 180 by pi. It is pi by 180 only. Okay. You just check 1 second. No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, 180 degrees means pi radians. So what is 1 degree? Pi by 180. It is 1 degree.
Yes, sir.
Then what is 94.09 degree? It is pi by 180 into 94.09. Okay. So now please do this now. Square root of 1 by pi into 60.38 whole square into pi minus 1.64. Please do it and tell me the answer. How much it is? So pi value is 3.14 minus 1.64. Okay. So into 60.38 into
41.7.
how much?
41.74.
Okay, no problem. So I think so 41.7 ampere. So we got the RMS value of IS. So we got at the end what is RMS value of IS. Now we will go to this formula. Which formula now? This power factor formula. So everything we got, we'll put that 96.14 into 60.386 divided by 230 into 41.7. You just know. Now please find out and tell me how much it is. That is the power factor. Yeah, how much?
.604.
0.60. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is the power factor 0.60. And whenever someone said it's a power factor in the sense, definitely either it is a lagging power factor or leading power factor. So which one you are guessing here? Is it lagging? It's a lagging power factor. Why it's a lagging power factor is that the load is a inductive load. Simple thing, because motor load is a inductive load. Yes, you have an inductor here. You don't have a capacitor here. So it's a lagging. So the answer is 0.60 lagging. So this is the third question, I think. So with this, this entire question is over.